Good morning, Tea Tribe. So happy to have you all in here today. We are breaking down the latest celebrity news. There was a lot that went down this weekend. I'm sure if you've been paying attention to the news and social media, you've seen a lot of stuff happening. So we're going to get into all of it. But make sure you subscribe to Hollyscoop, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, share these lives with your friends, invite them to join us so we can grow the Tea Tribe. I'm Devyn Howard, you guys. You can find me on Instagram as @DevynHoward. Courtney.
And I am Courtney Revolution, and you can find me most places at Courtney Revolution.
Wow, I am shocked. I never would have guessed. Anyway, you a little rundown of what we're going to be getting into today. So obviously over the weekend, there were a lot of the Black Lives Matter protests going on around the country, and celebrities were getting involved. We saw Jake Paul getting involved, but not in the best way. We're going to fill you in on all of that. We have Ariana Grande, who was out there. Billie Eilish was showing her support. And then in some other news, we're talking about One Direction and what they have planned for their 10th anniversary. We've got some celebrity therapy with Lady Gaga and her man, and then of course Kylie Jenner tea time. Kylie Jenner's lawyer spoke out against that Forbes article. Kim and Khloe also showed up for Black Lives Matter. And Scott and Courtney, we have a relationship update that for those of you who ship them, you may not be happy about that. Also, really quickly, Courtney, I feel like we need to talk about this since we didn't get to address it in the live yesterday, although we do have a video all about it on our channel that went up later in the day on Friday afternoon. That Kylie Jenner Forbes article. If you've been living under a rock, you might not realize that Kylie Jenner was called out for not being a billionaire. So Forbes did a whole investigation. They said that she forged her tax returns. She tweeted and called out the magazine and said, like, this is so false. You guys are just making assumptions, blah, blah, blah. So she spoke out against that. I know you guys wanted us to address it in the live on Friday morning, but because it broke while we were live, we could not talk about it. But Courtney, I haven't been able to get your thoughts on this yet. So why don't you fill me in really quickly on what that Forbes article said and how you feel about it?
Honestly, Devyn, I didn't care enough to even give it a thorough look because there were way more important things happening in the world. Basically, Forbes is saying that Chris gave them false tax documents, and Kylie is saying that they didn't. So who's lying? Who didn't do their due diligence? Was it Cody? Was it Forbes? What's going on? Who cares? At the end of the day, Kylie is still rich. And I think that it was in poor taste for Forbes to even publish that on Friday with everything going on. So Forbes, good night. I hope that you did not get the engagement, and I hope that you did not get the likes, and I hope that you did not get the attention that you craved because Black lives overshadowed that. The one thing that Kylie couldn't steal was our oppression. So, girl, man. That's how I feel about it, Devyn.
I love that perspective, Courtney, because that's absolutely true. We have so many bigger things going on right now. It's just like Madison Beer crying over being the beauty standard and not wanting to be and all of that. Like we're in such a transitional and pivotal time, and the state of the world right now is it's rocky. It's, things are changing. There's a lot happening. So for anybody to really even be like focusing on things that are so trivial, like whether or not you're a billionaire, is stunning. It's shocking. I can't believe it. But I also do want to call out and shout out any of the members of the Tea Tribe who did go out and peacefully protest over the weekend. If you did, I see you. You're being a great ally. Thank you so much for showing your support. If you are not able to or were not able to show up and get out there and march with everybody, there are so many other ways that you can get involved and show your support for the Black Lives Matter movement. I posted a few things on my Instagram story if you guys want to check that out after the live, but also just, you can give donations, stand up to racism in your everyday life. Don't let microaggressions slide past. Talk to your family, your friends, do whatever you can to just create a more progressive mentality around like race in America. It shouldn't be this issue right now. And it makes me sad that things are as they are.
I want to go on ahead while we have this moment and we're talking about George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, #emphasis Black lives matter. Girl, I'm glad we have the morning tea where I can just go ahead and say that. Because for everyone that's screaming all lives matter, it wouldn't trigger you so much to say that if you didn't feel like Black lives were less valued. You get what I'm saying? All lives cannot matter until Black lives are treated with equality. There are Black people being slain left and right, Devyn, and I feel like it's just very important to emphasize that, sure, all lives do matter, but that's not the conversation that we're having. You get what I'm saying? If all lives matter, George Floyd would still be alive. You get what I'm saying? So until someone can come to me with an explanation as to why all lives matter is more important than Black lives matter, meh. But I do want to say, I would like for you guys to go ahead and research the Minnesota Freedom Fund, because if you donate to that organization, that money goes to help bail out protesters that are being arrested. So feel free to look into that information and donate and do what you can to raise awareness and make your voice heard. Yeah. Do all those things. And also, Devyn Howard, I think it's also very important to note, Happy Pride Month to me and the gays. So shout out to everyone, all the members of the LGBTQ plus community. Shout out to my trans brothers and sisters. Shout out to the people that do not identify. Shout out to all of you guys. It's a very weird time right now, but I still want to remind you guys that you guys matter, whether your parents or people in your life are making you feel as though you don't. You do. So stay alive and stay proud, and most importantly, stay safe.
I love that, Kourtney. I'm going to wear my rainbow shirt tomorrow. I have 2 super cute rainbow shirts that I'll choose one of them, and I'm going to wear it tomorrow. So I wish I thought to wear it today, because then we would have matched, and you know I love a matching moment, but I forgot. So I'm tempted to go change right now, but I just moved into my new apartment and I cannot find anything. It is a struggle right now.
Is that going good for you right now, Devyn?
What'd you say?
Is the move going good for you right now? How did that go this past weekend?
It went well. My dad came up and helped me, which was amazing, and my sister helped me for a couple hours. I've got everything in here. It's just all over the place. So I can't I don't know. It's not settled
yet.
You got
to spread out, girl.
Yes, I need to just put stuff away. It's stressing me out having the place be this messy. Really quickly, I'm going to call out Autumn, who gave us $19.99. She said, "Good morning, Devyn and Kourtney. I hope you guys are staying safe during this crazy time. Our country is in turmoil, and it's very sad to see Pittsburgh is getting absolutely crazy." And then we also have Kimberly. We have Kimberly, who gave us $9.99, and she says, "I stand with you all." I love that, you guys. I love the support. I love how inclusive the chat is right now. And yeah, like Kourtney said, make sure you check out the Minnesota Freedom Fund or the George Floyd Memorial Fund. I think that's going to help his family. And yes, be a good person. Be nice. Oh, one thing that I want to add, just because you were talking about that All Lives Matter conversation that people are having, the Black Lives Matter doesn't take away from the struggles that you may have had as a white person. You can struggle, you can have, socioeconomical struggles, you can have so many different things that are going on and still be white, but the thing that matters the most is that the color of your skin doesn't make it harder for you. So that's what I think people are not recognizing about the Black Lives Matter movement. It's not that Black lives are more important than every other lives. It's that every life is equally as important, and if you are a white person, your skin color does not make your life harder. And that's just something important to recognize.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Call it out, Devyn. You ate that. Yes. Come on. Yes. Come on. You did that. Woo!
Be a good ally, you guys. Be a good person. That's all that this really boils down to. Now let's jump in. We're going to be talking about things that happened at the protest. We're also going to be talking about just some regular celebrity news, so we'll fill you in on everything. Let's get that tea poured up, my friends. I've got my coffee here, so I'm not pouring anything because it's already in the cup. You guys, my cup always has so many drips on it. I don't know how I do this because I don't find that I'm dripping everywhere when I'm drinking it, but there's just always drips on this mug, so I apologize. Anyway. Cheers,
girl.
All right. Now let's talk about Jake Paul stuff, okay? This is our first OMT story. So he got in a bit of hot water over the weekend after he filmed the looting of an Arizona shopping mall. People immediately accused him of being involved in the bad behavior, but he denied all of it. He took to his Instagram to share a statement about it. He said, quote, "Neither I nor anyone in our group was engaged in any looting or vandalism." He said that they had been part of the peaceful protest earlier and, quote, "filmed everything we saw in an effort to share our experience and bring more attention to the anger felt in every neighborhood. We were strictly documenting, not engaging. I do not condone violence, looting, or breaking the law. However, I understand the anger and frustration that led to the destruction that we witnessed." Okay, so I have a couple things that I want to say about this, but the first thing that I do want to say is this is probably the most eloquent I've ever heard Jake Paul sound, because this guy is usually just like saying stuff. Yeah, I know. I don't think he wrote it either. I think it was a great PR thing. But here's my issue with all of this. Okay, fine. Jake, maybe you weren't involved in the looting. Maybe you weren't involved in the vandalism, but we don't need you to be the documentarian of this movement and show the negative stuff that's happening. We have enough focus on what's going on that's not necessarily representative of the entire Black Lives Matter movement or the protests. Why do we need Jake to be here, our savior, showing us everything that's going on that is not representative of like the true intentions behind everything? So I feel like he took the spotlight away from an issue that is really important and shined it on himself and was like, look at what's going on here. I'm not a part of it. But that's my thoughts. I find it very, very annoying. Where do you stand, Kourtney?
Girl, Jake Paul is a liar. The reason why I'm saying that he's a liar, and if you're a Jake Paul fan, sorry, not sorry, Demi Lovato said it best, girl. Jake Paul was outside of the PF Chang's that was being looted drinking vodka, and we had the we have the footage, but like I've seen the footage, I've seen the photos. Elijah Daniel, if you guys know the creator, Elijah Daniel, he called it out the other day on Twitter. So the statement was manure. Devyn, because it was fake, it was phony, like we just discussed. It was crafted by a professional because we know that he probably can't read. So Jake Paul is garbage. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I'm with you on that one. I feel like, see, I wasn't sure if there was actual footage of him looting and vandalizing, so I didn't know that he was actually a part of it.
He was with people that were, and he was participating in the enjoying of the gifts that were being stolen from the restaurant. So you drinking vodka out the restaurant, but you're here just to document everything. Like, Devyn, the thing that really has been bothering me this weekend is when I see people, specifically creators, that are using this moment to protest as like a moment to have a social media like photo shoot or to like get some clout off of the blood and oppression of Black people. That's what I have a problem with. And clearly Jake Paul was part of that. Girl, go away forever. Put him in the car, throw him in a chokey. You ever seen Matilda? Devyn, Matilda? Put him in the chokey, girl, and slam the door with all the nails in it, girl. Slam the door, girl. Get in the chokey. Don't make me put my bun on, girl. I will turn into Trunchbull real quick and throw him in there with the chocolate cake and lock the door, never to be heard of ever again, because that's where he belongs. He is a closet monster. Goodbye.
I think he deserves the chocolate cake, Kourtney. If it were up to me, he'd get no chocolate cake, just the chokey.
Let him starve then. I was trying to be cute about it. Let him starve, Devyn. Devyn said, sorry, sir. Big D Devyn said, nah, no chocolate cake for you. Send it to the chokey. Slam. Starve it out. I feel it. I'm with it.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Okay, so since we got that, like, kind of roll your eyes moment out of the way to start off our show, let's move into something that's better and a little bit more uplifting. Ariana Grande was one of the many celebrities who did go out and participate in the protest this weekend. She joined one of the marches in LA and she was carrying a Black Lives Matter sign. She shared it on her Instagram story as well. You can see her with her mask and her sign, all of that. And then she tweeted, and I thought this was good that she tweeted this because she has such a huge platform. She wrote, "Hours and miles of peaceful protesting yesterday that got little to no coverage. All throughout Beverly Hills and West Hollywood, we chanted, people beeped and cheered along, we were passionate, we were loud, we were loving, cover this too." And I think she draws attention to the fact that the media is kind of loving the sensationalized aspect of the movements right now. We're seeing, like I said before, a lot of the negative stuff that's going on. and not enough of the positive stuff. So I'm glad that Ariana, you know, used her platform to show that things were peaceful and things were supportive and loving and powerful without being destructive. What are your thoughts, Court?
Devyn, I was very glad to see Ariana Grande out and about with the people. I feel like Ariana Grande is the epitome of talking the talk and walking the walk. And I'm glad specifically about her tweet, Devyn, because from what I saw, live streams and things like that, things were very peaceful until the police showed up. And also, things were very peaceful until you find out that you have about 30 to 45 minutes to get in your house because, surprise, here's a curfew. You get what I'm saying? So you have to think, especially in a place like LA, it takes about 30 to 45 minutes to get anywhere anyway. So imagine you're in a protest trying to protest peacefully, and then all of a sudden your phone lights up or you get a text from your mom or a friend saying, girl, you better get on out of there because the police got jammers and they're coming and they've got the military, girl. It's scary. So I'm glad that Ariana used her platform to say, hey, the news isn't always accurate. And you and I are here also, I'm here to say at least, the news hasn't been very diverse in its points of views in terms of the protesting. So know that seeing isn't always believing when it comes to your local news. I'll say that.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And the protests here in Santa Monica also started out peaceful. The intention is to keep them peaceful, you know? Mm-hmm. It's only after people are, you know, planted there or the police show up or there's the few bad eggs, you know, that are coming to like rile people up. That's when things start getting kind of crazy. So yes, I agree with you. Make sure you're getting a well-rounded perspective of the news that's going on. I want to move in to another superstar who made a statement that I like. Okay, so Billie Eilish responded to Trump's controversial tweets about the protests in Minneapolis. This happened at the end of last week. So she shared them in her story, writing, "Our own president said this. Are you dead effing serious? Eat a huge effing D and choke on it." She also called out the people who claim all lives matter and said, quote, "Society gives you privilege just for being white. You can be poor, you can be struggling, and still your skin color is giving you more privilege than you realize." She asked this question to her followers: "Why is it okay for white people to protest literally being asked to stay at home while carrying semi-automatic weapons? Why is it okay for black people to be called thugs for protesting the murder of innocent people? White effing privilege." Billie Eilish is such a smart girl, and she has such an audience of young girls, and mostly I think young girls who are following her and who idolize her. And to have somebody like this, like sure, she uses foul language, but to have somebody who is so strong in her convictions, so passionate, and also so smart, I think is such a great way to inspire change in a younger generation.
I agree. And I think that Billie is causing younger people to just think a little bit more critically. Devyn, you really got to really truly think about it. People just recently was outside with their weapons, their weapons, as you guys have heard me say in the past, protesting, screaming about they want a haircut, right? They was outside them community buildings. Oh, I want a haircut. I want to get my nails done. Blah, 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 blah. Girl, not a gun was fired. Girl, you ain't see the police cars running nobody off the stairs of the county buildings, girl. But the second one black man is slain, all of this chaos, the guns are drawn, girl, rubber bullets, we got the cars plowing through the people. Wow, Devyn, all of this blood and arresting when it could have just been 4 simple arrests. Mm-hmm. Wow. Perspective. I know. Shout out to Billie Eilish because she realizes the same.
I know. I love that Billie Eilish is speaking up and standing up and being a loud and powerful voice right now, because that's what we need. We don't need anybody being quiet. We don't need anybody worrying about upsetting their racist fans or whatever it is. This is the time to just really stand up, be a good person, and show that you care. So shout out to Billie Eilish. And now let's switch gears a little bit. If we have any One Directioners watching this, you may be very happy about this. I loved One Direction when they were on the radio. Like, I was such a big fan. So I'm just admitting it right now. I love the boy bands. I love Justin Bieber. I love it all. Okay. So a source Hollywood Life that One Direction is going to reunite for their 10th anniversary. So we've heard that this was going to happen for a while now, but they always said that it wasn't going to happen if they couldn't get Zayn on board. But now the band has decided, or the former band, I guess I should say, has decided to move forward with or without Zayn. The source revealed that all the guys are very excited to do something for the anniversary, except Zayn. He's been difficult about signing up to do any music, live performances, or interviews, while the rest of the band has been very excited to do something and continue to prepare something for the fans. For a time, it was all or nothing, but since they can't get Zayn on board with their ideas, they're looking to move forward without him. The source also added that the band does not plan on talking negatively about Zayn. They plan on just blaming his absence on his new daddy duties, which, I mean, I guess is a reasonable excuse. He's going to be a new dad pretty soon. But here's some exciting news. The guys will be recording new music. They'll be re-recording their old hits. They'll be releasing some tracks that we haven't heard yet. So all very exciting. Are you looking forward to this 10th anniversary? Do you think it's going to hit as hard as it would have if all of the band members were there?
No. I've gone back and forth with this, Devyn. I've like done the whole like I wish they all would just come back together. I've done the who cares if Zayn doesn't come back. Today, I feel like, geez, Zayn, you were recording albums in the back of a tour bus and you can't give us one song? You can't hit a falsetto on one song? We're not saying you got to show up for the video or anything like that, or do a sing along at home, or get on the Zoom call or whatever. You ain't got to go on Jimmy Fallon, girl, but geez, you can't sing the falsetto on one song for the baby? The boys can't get together and write a song dedicated to Zayn's child and Zayn get on there and sing the song, Devyn. Like, come on. Give the fans something. They couldn't, like, reach a compromise. I don't know. I'm kind of like an all or nothing kind of person. So, like, I feel like if the original group was all of them and Zayn, then a reunion, especially with this amount of time going by, especially with the world that we live in, especially with everything going on, I just wish that Zayn could have put whatever he has going on to the side. Not being a father. The baby's not here yet. Gigi is fine. I wish that he would have just ran in the closet real quick, a la Billie Eilish, and just given us something. A little quick verse, a little ooh-ah. He could have just... Zayn was here, but he only did backup vocals. Something. It sucks because fans that were drawn to One Direction because of Zayn don't get fed. That's who I feel sorry for.
That's true. I feel the same way. I think it is kind of silly that he can't put his differences aside. He could even let the guys record a track together and he goes in separately to the recording studio and, does his part. He doesn't have to be there. He hardly would have to interact with them at all, but he would still make the money that they're undoubtedly going to be making from whatever unreleased or whatever songs they do release. It is kind of silly. It feels kind of stubborn, but then again, I guess we don't really know exactly what went on behind the scenes. And I don't know. For me, One Direction wouldn't be complete without Harry Styles. Like, that to me was the main member of the band. So if it was Harry not showing up, I'd be like, ooh, okay. One Direction.
Girl, if Harry wasn't going, I would be dragging this from left to right. I would say cancel the event. What anniversary? What song? I don't want to hear it. My Harry tickets are not canceled yet, so I know where my money is already tied up in. Like, I would have already had a whole speech. We're not doing One Direction without Mr. Harry the Styles. Absolutely not. Imagine that. I know. Harry or Niall, I would be fair and say. It's not the same without either of them. Absolutely not.
See, for me, if Niall, I never felt the same attachment to Niall that I do Harry. I always have loved Harry.
The kids love Niall. And he speaks out too, Devyn. You know what I mean? He's really another one that like speaks out. The people would be very disappointed if Niall were missing. Chat, what y'all saying? Y'all talking about Niall too? Let me click on over here. Y'all saying, look, what y'all saying? Look, Cassidy is saying, look, y'all want saying. I'm asked. Jessica said, Harry all the way. Y'all know. Karina said, you can't do it without Harry. No way. Y'all know what time it is. I just wanted to bring that. Y'all can't. Y'all got to have Zayn. Y'all could go over there and these two, they need to be in it. Period.
Yeah. You want to know what's funny? When I'm talking about who I think is cutest, Harry and Zayn are the cutest. But Harry is the mainstay. And Niall, I see what you're saying with Niall. Niall needs to be there as well. But then the other guys, it's like... you know, they just don't hold as much weight anymore.
Shout out to them. They're all excellent. I am going to speak for myself. My concert ticket would not be purchased until I saw Harry Styles in a reunion photo. I'm just... Imagine having Liam in the front of the One Direction reunion photo. Like, Harry's not here, but we got Liam, but he's a little bit offensive at times, but y'all gonna buy this ticket. Imagine that. Nah. And that's coming from someone that used to stan Liam Payne. I used to stan Liam Payne. But, woo,
really?
Girl, y'all pulled the wool off of my eyes, girl. I said, hold on. He was talking some trash. Devyn, it's been a very long, rocky road between me and Liam Payne. Oh, shout out to him, though.
That is so funny. Oh my God, I love that. Okay, let's get into couples therapy, you guys. We're going to start off by talking about Lady Gaga and her man, Michael Polanski. That last name, wow, I love that last name. It reminds me of Helga Pataki. You guys remember Helga?
Yes.
Okay, so we have seen quarantine tear couples apart, Cole Sprouse and Lily Reinhart being one of them, but it's also been bringing some people together. Dylan Sprouse and Barbara Palvin are, I guess, thriving in quarantine, but so are Lady Gaga and Michael. So she and her man are just getting so much closer. This isolation for the past, 90 days has been doing them really, really well. A source says that they've been staying together at her place in Malibu since March because of the isolation orders. But even when everything goes back to normal, it's a given that they will continue to live together. And being in this pandemic has completely accelerated their relationship, which I think is understandable. You're with somebody 24/7. You have no other distractions. You can't go out to eat. You can't go see your friends. So, of course, when you're spending this much time together, you're going to feel like things are moving on the fast track. A source told Hollywood Life that they are totally intertwined now. It honestly seems like she's met her soulmate. And they added, it won't shock anyone if they get engaged soon. They're so in love. Now, Kourtney, do you think that she's going to get engaged to Michael?
Maybe. I mean, I feel like for whatever reason, Devyn, whenever I think of Lady Gaga and this particular boyfriend, there was like this New York Times article that came out and it was like, what life was like when your boyfriend starts dating Lady Gaga, and it was about this woman that like opened up her Instagram and like saw Lady Gaga and him together, and that was like her ex, and it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. I mean, if we keep getting good music like this, girl, you need to put a ring on that, girl, because Chromatica was it. Now, if this man is making you dance and tap, and girl, give us all these beats like this, get your blood pop in the studio, girl, then this is the man to keep, and he's got good eyebrows. So, I mean, if the family likes him and Lady Gaga is all about it, and he's on the rocket ship with her to Chromatica, Devyn, I'm here for it. If she likes it, I love it. Lady Gaga's gonna do what she gonna do. So I support her. Give her the Grammy for Chromatica. Just putting that out in the universe. Give her the Grammy.
Yes, I want her to get the Grammy too. And also, I'm with you. If he makes her happy, if she's, creative and thriving and inspired, then this is a good relationship. We just want Lady Gaga to be in something healthy, happy, something that supports her, and I think this is it. So I feel really happy about that. I also wanted to mention that Lady Gaga was one of the people to speak out against what Donald Trump was saying, and she also expressed her support for the Black Lives Matter movement. She posted on her Instagram, I have it pulled up on my phone because I didn't write it in my notes accidentally, but she says, we've known for a long time that President Trump has failed. He holds the most powerful office in the world, yet offers nothing but ignorance and prejudice while Black lives continue to be taken. We've known that he's a fool and a racist since he took office. He's fueling a system that is already rooted in racism and racist activity, and we can see all what is happening. It's time for a change. So she posted 3 different slides here. You can see the different slides, and what she said was really, really powerful. So I just also feel it's important to shout out Lady Gaga for speaking up and for saying something. So yeah, just wanted to mention that as well before we move on.
Shout out to Lady Gaga. Devyn, before we switch, I just want to say Chromatica was a great album. In between taking on all of the energy from the content, from the protests and the riots and all of that, when I was taking my breaks to step away and unplug because those things are healthy, I was playing Chromatica. So shout out to Lady Gaga for still being unafraid and fearless and dropping her music during this time. knowing how some people would perceive that action. I want to applaud her for doing that.
Yeah, and also, you guys, if you haven't seen Kourtney's video about Chromatica, make sure you check that out on his channel. So do that. This wasn't one of the headlines, but I'm a Bachelor fan, so I just wanted to mention, if any of you watched The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, you're part of Bachelor Nation. I feel like I've come on the morning tea a few times, and I've expressed my fandom of the show, and I've talked about the people on it. But Cassie Randolph and Colton Underwood broke up, so they're also one couple that did not make it through quarantine. Honestly, I'm not surprised by that at all. Did any of you watch
The Bachelor couple? Devyn, I'm going to tell you right now, we talk about The Bachelor here all the time, and my face just stays blank the entire time. I won't give those people an ounce of my time. There hasn't been like a black Bachelor. That's a problem for me. The girl that was on Bachelorette said the N-word recently. People not even buying her little apology. But I will say, I did watch the first episode. Let me know if you've seen it, Devyn, of The Bachelor Presents Listen to Your Heart.
Oh, honey, have you seen that?
I only watched the first episode, and I can tell you nothing about it except it just felt very long. It felt very long. But you know what? If you like it, honestly, I love it. It's been around for a long time, so I mean, it has a built-in. Shout out to the Bachelor Nation. But you know what? If it gives y'all something to enjoy in the evening and it helps you decompress, I'm here for it. It's just long. Like I've said in the past, we have Flavor of Love, and they get the job done in 40 minutes, Devyn. 40 minutes, no host. We don't need Chris, whatever his name is. Just have the Bachelorette have a good personality to take charge of her own home, her own mansion, and pick the men out and call it a day, girl. Sorry, y'all. I don't mean to try The Bachelor, but...
No, I agree with you, because my mom and I will watch the show and like we'll talk about it together, and my mom will always say I fast forwarded through like an hour and a half of it or whatever, and for me, I'm afraid I'm gonna miss something that I wish I saw, so I don't fast forward, but I have to allot 2 hours to watching this show that is so repetitive. They do so many like flashbacks and like last week on The Bachelor, and that part alone is 10 minutes. We not need it to be that long. But I like the show because it's such a train wreck, and it's so funny to see what these people do and how they react and the weird emotional outbursts that people have. But I agree with you. We are long overdue for more diversity on the cast. We need more representation on that show, way more. But the Listen to Your Heart one, I mean, that one was okay. I thought the show was fine. It was good to watch while I was in quarantine. Well, I am in quarantine, but I'm done with it. So I just feel like, I don't know. It was okay. I wasn't that hooked on it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into the final segment today. This is Car Jenner Tea Time. Hit it, Leo.
Car Jenner Tea Time! Oh, to everyone in my studio, which is no one. I can't get over that. This is too much.
So funny. I love that so much. Okay. All right, you guys. So we're gonna start off by talking about Kylie Jenner. So her lawyer slammed that Forbes article that came out. So like we talked about at the top of this show, Forbes released an article last week that said Kylie Jenner and her mom manipulated her revenue statements and tax documents to make it look like she was a billionaire when she actually wasn't. Coty, the company that bought Kylie Cosmetics, also revealed that when they looked at all of the data and when they, counted all the money that was coming in, the revenue was significantly smaller than they were led to believe, which is pretty shocking. But now Kylie's lawyer is actually speaking out and said, quote, "The article is filled with outright lies. Forbes' accusation that Kylie and her accountants forged tax returns is false, and we are demanding that Forbes immediately and publicly retract that and other statements. It's sad that Forbes has devoted 3 reporters to investigate the effect of the coronavirus crisis on Kylie's net worth. We would not expect that from a supermarket tabloid, much less from Forbes." So it's kind of a confusing situation because Forbes is a pretty reputable magazine and website. It's something that people, look to for accurate information. So the fact that Kylie was named a billionaire when she potentially wasn't, and now they're walking back on their own words and saying, we were wrong about Kylie and the amount of money that she has. Like, yes, there are so many more important things that are happening right now, but it is it's pretty shocking. And I don't really know what side to believe here. We know that Kris Jenner will stop at nothing to make sure her family is front and center of everything. So I guess I can't be surprised that she would manipulate the money and the revenue and all of that and the net worth, but that kind of thing can be figured out as it has been right now. So it's a huge risk to take. What do you think about this and what Kylie's lawyer said?
All I'm going to say is this. Whoever was fact-checking that story, what was it, a year ago, 2 years ago? Fired. Immediately fired. Because how are you Forbes, Devyn? Like you said, you're a reputable source. We look to you to see, like, who are the richest celebrities? Whose net worth is the largest? We look for those lists. We look for those facts. And so for them to put out a report like, oops, Kylie Jenner is not really a billionaire. Well, y'all are the ones that led us and told us this information. So is Kylie wrong, or are y'all wrong, or like what? How did this come about? Did Kris approach y'all and say, hey, my accountant says Kylie's going to be a billionaire, and then they just say, okay, and they don't check? How did y'all mess this up is my biggest question to Forbes. You get what I'm saying? If Kylie did lie, sure. We know that the Kardashians potentially could be scammers, professional scammers in many different ways. Sure, whatever. But Forbes, y'all are supposed to be the gatekeepers. How did y'all let this slippery Chrissy get past you? How did that happen?
Okay, so here's what the article said, that Kris tried for years to get Kylie on the billionaires list, and every time she didn't make enough money, but then finally in the last 2 years, I think, she was inviting Forbes into her homes, into their CPA's offices, sending over these tax documents. So I think that the Forbes reporters felt like they were getting the accurate information because they were sitting there with the Jenner accountants and with all of their people right there, and they were saying, yep, this is what she earned. So either Kris got everybody involved in the manipulation, in the scam, or I don't know. I don't really know what to believe here, but I don't know. I kind of am putting my trust in Forbes here, which is crazy. It's crazy.
That sounded like Chrissy slid Forbes speculation on confirmation. It sounded like Chrissy slipped Forbes a manila folder in all white library that Kanye loves so much and said, oh, look at these paperwork. And maybe the paperwork was written in crayon, girl, but all you need is a little physical proof before Forbes said, oh, yes, girl, she's a billionaire, girl, yes. And they go and write their little article. I wonder if the same people that were reporting on Kylie being a billionaire the first time are the same people that are writing this expose. I'm curious, and I wonder if those people still have jobs today. That's the question. Now Forbes need to come out and tell us that.
Such a good point. That's such a good point. We should look into that. We'll do some investigative reporting today and let you guys know tomorrow if we find out anything. Okay, let's get into the next Jenner update. This one's about Kim and Khloe and how they showed up for the Black Lives Matter movement. So Kim took to her Instagram to share her thoughts on the current state of the world. She wrote, "The privilege I am afforded by the color of my skin has often left me feeling like this is not a fight that I can truly take on as my own. Not today, not anymore. Like so many of you, I am angry. I am more than angry. I am infuriated and I am disgusted." She also said that it was so heartbreaking to see Black people being murdered and locked away unjustly. She added, "Even though I will never know the pain and suffering they have endured or what it feels like to try to survive in a world plagued by systemic racism, I know I can use my own voice to help amplify those voices that have been muffled for too long." And then Khloe also shared a statement on her Instagram, and she wrote, "No mother should live in fear like that. And as I think about my own daughter, my future children, and all of our children, I know that we have to create a better future for them, one filled with love, light, and compassion, not one filled with hatred and ignorance." I appreciate that the Jenners said something. I know the power of having a huge platform, and I think that that's It's an amazing thing to do to educate your audience and to enlighten them. But I also think it would have been so much more powerful for them to actually show up and protest, considering they have Black babies and Black boyfriends and Black husbands. And maybe they were out there and we didn't see it. But I think that I kind of wish that they had gone out there. You know what I mean? But do you think I'm wrong for feeling that way?
Devyn, I discussed this on my channel yesterday very briefly, and I think that, in my opinion, from where I stand, I think it's almost like at this stage in the game, I would not expect the Kardashians to show up at a protest, right? But what I would hope to see as mothers of Black children, an extremely out of this world, phenomenal donation. I don't even care if they would have publicized it or not, or someone else come out and speak on, like Ariana. For example, Ariana was going and she was donating to some of the smaller Black-owned businesses that were being looted during this time, and she was reaching out and saying, "Hey, what can I do to help? What can I give you for these repairs? What can I do for you?" I wish that Kim and Khloe would have either done something like that or just an outrageous donation to any of the organizations. I feel like words, although they are great, they are fantastic, they raise awareness. With this particular family, it comes off a little flimsy because they always give off an air of financially they're limitless. So why wouldn't you open up your purse? Kim, Khloe, Kylie, Kendall, Chrissy, Corey. Why wouldn't y'all do those things and post links even? I feel like y'all do so much to promote everything else, and I wish that it could have been swipe up or go link in bio. Link in bio, leave it up there. Pinned tweets. It's just, I feel like it's not enough. Kylie, people were asking Kylie, I believe on Twitter, well, girl, did you speak out about Black Lives Matter? And she goes, I did, period. And then you go on her Instagram and it's like one of those stupid 10 Black people on a chain on Instagram, which literally helps nobody and does nothing and is stupid. No shade, all shade, absolutely. I just wish that they would have done more, Devyn, as mothers of Black children. That's how I feel. It's so much from our culture every day, and that would have been the perfect time for them to show up.
No, I'm with you. I felt the same way. Like, I read their statements, and I was like, yeah, I mean, it's well said. They make a lot of great points. I hope that when people are scrolling on their Instagram, they stop and read it and think about it. But also, yeah, even if they didn't feel comfortable stepping out at a protest, which I guess I would understand why they wouldn't. It's a huge group of people. They are major celebrities. But then again, if Ariana can do it, if Halsey can do it, I don't know. I feel the Kardashians could do it. But if they didn't feel comfortable,
I think it would be it could potentially wind up being an unsafe situation, Devyn, because I think that there will be people out there that wouldn't have the same level of understanding and information as you and I have, because we talk about them every day. And so lots of people only look at them as people that steal from our culture. So then it might have been more of a distraction for them to be there than it to be help. You get what I'm saying? Because those conversations have been happening. Why weren't they at the protest? Y'all, you wouldn't believe how short attention spans are. It could go from we're protesting peacefully to, oh, why are you here? And 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 then it turns into let's jump the Kardashians, and then you know what I mean? We don't want that. Yeah. I just wish that their support could have come in a completely different way, but been as loud as everything else that they support and do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, even if they did a swipe up to that Minnesota Freedom Fund that you mentioned earlier, I'm sure that a Jenner conversion rate on Instagram is very, very high. So if they even got, 5% of their audiences to donate $5, $4, that would have been huge. I'm terrible at math, so I can't do that kind of math in my head, but that would have been like amazing. And yeah, it would have been a ton of money, and it would have been so powerful. Maybe they still will. I'm holding out hope that they do a little bit more, but if not, at the very least, I'm glad they said something and didn't ignore it completely, considering they do have members of their family who are Black and who likely have or will be affected by this systemic racism that we have. So it's important for them to be loud and to be vocal and supportive. You know what I mean? It's huge for them. Let's move on into the final Kardashian Jenner update. So this one's about Scott and Kourtney. So for those of you who are like me and hope that one day Scott and Kourtney get back together and reunite and live their life out as soulmates, you're going to be very, very disappointed. Sources revealed to Hollywood Life that despite spending a lot of time together recently, Kourtney and Scott are not romantically involved and they likely never will be. The source said, quote, "He will always put her on this pedestal, and he's never loved another woman quite in the way in which he loved her. It was the first true love type of feeling romantically, but it won't happen. They are the best of co-parents and friends and just want the other to be happy. They just don't work well as boyfriend and girlfriend." So that's quite a shame. I wanted them to get back together. Kourtney, I know you were indifferent, but I thought it would have been the ultimate love story for them to just come back together and, I don't know, be more mature than they were the first time around, but it doesn't sound like it's happening. And also, Scott is actually still fully invested in Sophia. So Us Magazine reported that the two are still texting, they're still in touch, but they're not seeing each other. And Hollywood Life spoke to another insider that says Scott truly believes that he will get Sophia back, but he understands the space that is needed for the both of them and the work he has to do for himself before any of that happens. He's focused on getting back to the person she fell in love with in the first place. They said he's determined to take it one step at a time, and whatever happens in the future with Sophia, he knows it will be for the best. So, Kourtney, my question for you, if Scott takes this time to hang out with Kourtney and rehabilitate his mind and body and his spirit and get into a better place mentally, do you think that Sophia would be willing to take him back? Or do you think that the combination of the, issues that they face together as a couple and then his close relationship with his ex and the mother of his children, do you think all of that will prevent her from giving him a second chance?
I think all the reports are fake. Devyn, this is all part of the storyline. This is all part of the Scott and Kourtney will they, won't they storyline. So like you just said, today was a don't they. Girl, by Wednesday, it'll be a will they again. I promise you that, girl. It's going to be Scott and Kourtney looked lovingly into each other's eyes through the window of a car into the home, and now they're thinking about getting back together. Meanwhile, Sophia is still holding on to hope. And then, it's always like a go back and forth. So I don't really believe any of it. At this point today, Monday, Scott and Sophia very well could still be together, but they have to play into this because for whatever reason, they're still holding Scott captive on the show. A lot of this isn't real to me. If we're being honest, I know a lot of people, they get invested in the comments about Scott and Kourtney and, the rehab and the seriousness of it all, but I just don't believe that a lot of it is real. It very much comes off storyline-esque to me. The same thing was happening with Tristan and Khloe last fall, Devyn. It was like Monday we would sit up there and be like, Khloe and Tristan hate each other's guts. And then on Thursday, Khloe and Tristan might be having another baby. And then on Monday, Khloe is pissed about Tristan saying maybe he doesn't want to have a baby. And then on Friday, Khloe is pregnant with Tristan's baby. Like, it's the same thing. So I bet you by the end of the week, girl, they gonna be, oh my God, Scott and Kourtney, girl, the wedding bells are ringing, girl. We're showing up to the chapel, girl. Where's Diplo, girl? So honestly, who cares? I really hope that Sophia can get on a hot pink plane, in my imagination, hot pink plane and fly it all the way to New York City and rock a runway and never look back. I want Scott to be in the audience for her, but y'all say he shouldn't go to New York, even though clearly that's where I feel like he should be. And I understand why y'all don't want him to go to New York, but Sophia wants to model and be away from the Kardashians. So I feel as though New York is the perfect place for them. But we'll have to wait and see, Devyn. Like I said, I think a lot of it is fake and phony to keep us guessing and to keep their name in the press, which obviously we do an excellent job of. We actually deserve a check from Miss Chrissy at this point, I believe. But, girl, how are the kids? How's Mason? Is Mason all right, Devyn?
Right now, Kourtney, we got a little super chat from Miss Mika, so can I shut you down?
Yes, God!
5, 6, 7, 8.
Miss Mika, nice to meet ya. Miss Mika, she on fleeka. Miss Mika, she loves to tea ya, and we see ya. Miss Mika, go Mika, go Mika, go, go, Go Mika! Happy Monday to Mika! Happy Monday, and shout out to you if you sing along.
Thank you so much, Miss Mika. So nice. So, okay, back to this Sophia Scott Kourtney news. Okay, I see what you're saying. I want Sophia to go pursue her own dreams, live her own independent woman life, go to New York and be a runway model if that's what she wants to do. I think that Scott likely would never follow her there just because I think he does want to be near his kids, and he probably still does have this attachment to Kourtney. So ultimately what I would like for Sophia is for her to find a nice young man who treats her well, who doesn't have any, lingering relationships or whatever. And I understand that Scott and Kourtney need to have that co-parenting relationship. But as I've said before, I feel like it's a little bit more than just like, let's care for our kids together, even though all the reports say that they're just friends. They're just friends. Anyway, I think Sophia would do better if she moved on from this and did that runway life in New York and lived out her dreams and found somebody who was ready for only her. You know what I mean?
I feel you. Let me ask you something, Devyn and Mom Tribe. What's an appropriate age for a woman to date a man with baggage?
An appropriate age?
Yes, because the reason why I'm asking is because we have so many comments. Not that I'm looking at the chat right now, no shade to y'all, but usually in the chat and in the comments after this goes up, there's always the comment of Sophia is too young for Scott with all of his baggage. Sophia is too mature with Scott and all of his baggage. But I feel like she done dated him this long and been on his little flop TV show and everything else. So I feel like what else does Sophia need to do to prove that she's mature enough to handle all of the BS that comes with being with the Jenners? The reason I just asked because they haven't really scared her off yet. I feel like everything they've thrown at her, Kourtney and her stank face that y'all stand so much in her flop businesses, all of the sisters like saying stuff on the slide, Kendall and her little comments on Instagram, like she's been through all of that, been there, done that, and she's still sort of here, or she's stuck around, I'll say. So what age, I'm going to ask you and Mom Tribe and T Tribe if you're obviously participating, what age is a good age do y'all think for a young lady to date an older or any gentleman that has baggage? Because in my experience and in my opinion, I feel like age doesn't really matter as long as it's law appropriate. Age doesn't really matter as long as you have the understanding that this person has baggage. Everyone comes with it. It literally is about the person that's going to help you unpack. And obviously, Scott chose Sophia to help him unpack for a reason. So I just wanted to get opinions on what y'all thought or what y'all felt was an appropriate age to date someone, anyone, I won't even say a man, anyone that has baggage or kids or recently divorced. To be honest, it sounds sometimes like the audience is like Scott is like used and abused and like used up, and he needs to be with like some 45-year-old cougar that's also used and abused and etc. And I feel like love is love, and if Scott found love in Sophia, as young as she is, even though she's of age and she's mature enough to sort of have a little bit of a career, why y'all don't respect that and what y'all would respect?
So I think that there's no specific age necessarily. I don't think it's like, oh, when you're 25, you're ready to handle this kind of responsibility or this kind of relationship. I think it's all about how mature you are as a person. And I've said a million times, I think Sophia is mature beyond her years. And I think that she totally can handle it. But I think that she deserves something that's a little bit more, I don't know, somebody who's maybe a little bit more 100% with her, you know? I think that Scott's attention is always going to be split between not necessarily Kourtney and the kids. I think it's always going to be split between Kourtney and another woman, because I think that there's still a lot of love there. I think there's still that romantic connection there, whether or not they want to actually act on it. So that's why I feel like Sophia would be better off finding somebody who's just all in and doesn't have anything in the background, just because she is such a smart girl and she seems like a sweet girl. I don't think she's a bad person at all. So that's where I stand on it. I don't think it's like you need to be 30, you need to be 25, but I see a lot of people in the chat are saying 30, 27, 25, really? 30 older. Yeah.
What? So so let me ask y'all this. What's the perfect woman for Scott? You don't have to pick a celebrity, but describe her.
And can I answer this question too?
Absolutely. Just out of genuine curiosity, because I want to get in y'all head and find out what y'all think. So who's the perfect, what kind of woman is the perfect woman for Scott? Personality, in terms of traits and what they want in life and their focus. Like, what is the kind of woman that Scott Disick should be dating at where he is in his life right now?
Kourtney? Kourtney Kardashian.
Someone that's struggling, someone that don't really want to work, someone that beat up her sisters. That's so. It almost kind of sound like y'all say mess belong with mess. Is it fair to say that?
I think no. I mean, no. I think that Kourtney is the perfect person for Scott because they have this history there and because they still love each other. That's what it is. They're still in love with each other. I feel like they are. Also, we got.
It's not healthy though, Devyn.
I think it can be healthy if they both moved away from the spotlight, which I don't think will happen, but. I don't know. Also, I think Khloe. Scott, I have something I want to say about Khloe before we wrap up the show too. I think that Scott, he would do well with also, I think these celebrities need to date normal girls and normal guys. They need to just date people who, like a nice lawyer, a nice real estate agent, an interior designer, somebody who's not living her life in the spotlight. Because I think Scott needs somebody who keeps him grounded. And I think a person who isn't used to the celebrity lifestyle would do well with that. But let's see, Wes. Yeah.
What Wesley say? You said Wesley. What Wesley say?
He said someone outside the Kardashian realm, someone that can offer him support without a lot of mess. Kimberly says a strong woman who won't take any ish. And let's see what other people are saying. He should date someone who has their life together.
Dai says, hi guys, hope you guys are doing okay and safe. Thank you, Leo and Dave, too, for this tea. Good morning, Dai Diaz. Hey, thank you so much for your super chat. Good morning.
Good morning. Also, someone said, Cassidy says, how about Devyn being the girl for Scott? No, it's okay. I don't want that.
I want to bring something up to y'all before we go. How much time we got left? Oh, we got just a couple minutes left. This will be real quick. Y'all do realize that even if Scott dates a normal girl, that girl will then become someone that's part of the spotlight, right? I get what y'all are trying to say, but y'all realize that Scott, regardless of whether he's with Kourtney or not, has sort of built his own brand, and he has his own spotlight. So anyone he dates will be part of that spotlight. So I think that it should be more about someone that's understanding, someone that is patient, someone that knows how to deal, someone that has critical thinking skills, someone that is a problem solver. Like, these are the kinds of traits that I'm thinking of. Like, not someone that has a job, not someone that's normal, because a rich person can be normal. Lots of them just choose not to be because they enjoy being a spectacle. You get what I'm saying? Scott needs someone that's not going to want to be the spectacle, that's going to enjoy him being the spectacle, and not the other way around. Very interesting, Devyn. We gotta find Scott somebody. We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, we need to have a Scott dating show. Okay. Also, that would actually not be a bad idea. Get Scott like a dating show. He could be the next Bachelor. That would be a collision of two worlds I really enjoy.
We gotta have Kourtney pop out back of the curtain on the season finale. Girl, Kourtney gotta come out and say, I don't think she's right for y'all. Have the kids come out. Yes. Mason come out and spill some mess, girl. Yes. Someone get VH1 on the line. We don't need E and we don't need ABC. We need VH1 because they're going to bring the mess and say cops later if it gets physical. Yes, ma'am.
Oh my gosh, yes, I am so in support of that. Okay, quickly before we wrap up, I just felt like I needed to mention this to the Tea Tribe. It's the same old Khloe Tristan narrative that we've been hearing. It's not even worthy of being a headline. I didn't even give it to Leo because who even cares? But remember last week when Tristan commented on Khloe's, or I guess that was now over a week ago, when he said baddie about that picture that doesn't even look like her.
Oh, the bobble wobble head picture.
So Khloe apparently felt like his comment was really nice, and she really appreciates that he's always like worshiping her looks, which I just thought was So weird. And I felt like I needed to mention that. And I wish that Khloe didn't feel the need to be validated by Tristan so much. And I wish that she didn't like his comments so much. I wish she was as annoyed by them as we are, but she's not. So, yay.
Devyn, I have to say, I do not know many women who talk about their sperm donors in the way that Khloe Kardashian speaks about Tristan. Mm-hmm. I just don't. I just love the way he talks about me. I just love his comments about my outlandish face tuning. That's a good way to put it. Outlandish face tuning.
Truly outlandish. That is the best way to describe it. It was all over the place. Anyway, you guys, that wraps up our show for today. Before you go, make sure you hit that subscribe button, tap that bell, give this video a like, leave a comment below, share it with your friends. Again, if you are going out there and protesting today, be loud, be vocal, be safe, be peaceful, and also check out the other ways that Kourtney and I talked about that you can get involved if you can't get out there and march with everybody. We're in such a crazy time right now. This is an opportunity to really create the change that you want to see in the world. So do whatever you can, donate what you can, educate your friends and family, educate yourself, and yeah, spread love, be positive. Anything you want to add before we wrap up?
Do all of the things that Devyn Howard has mentioned previously, sharing with your friends, liking, ringing the bell. Of course, follow us on social media. She is Devyn Howard. I'm Kourtney Revolution. You can check me out over on my own individual YouTube channel as well, at Kourtney Revolution, for the Green Chair Chats. And we will see you tomorrow for Tequila Tuesday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we will see you then. Now, wash your hands, Leo. Wash your hands, Leo. Better wash your hands. Wash your hands. Better wash your hands. Wash your hands and say to me. Better wash your hands. Wash your hands and say to me. Hey.